This podcast is sponsored by coffee because, God, I needed to get through this. It's also sponsored by water and a drink that's in another glass that's pink colored because I need to have 3 drinks on my desk at all times.
Oh, I know it's too early for the sponsor because it could not be seen. So
I'm the pre-show. I'm the pre-show sponsor.
You are the pre-show sponsor, and I can keep my sponsorship for the main show.
Yes.
But okay, now we talked so much about it, I guess we better get it started. Hello and welcome everybody to the AWKWARDCast. ANY and Keyframe wonder about random drivel, and today's sponsor is Slytherin. Because it couldn't be last week, and Cloud Cuckoo Country was very not nice to Slytherin, and so.
Wow, you prepped this opening well. Hi guys, welcome to the We're Still Stuck Inside podcast.
Which really doesn't make a lot of difference to the podcast in the past, doesn't it?
Yeah, but we have so little to do, so much time.
But yeah.
Also Silver Quill's here.
Exactly. This week's random drivel we wonder about. Haha! But yeah, welcome back to the show. Please, since it has been a while and we have so many guests coming through here, please remind us, who are you, what do you do, and why should people care?
Well, you see, I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the exhaustion that causes you to sneeze out your nose and get a tissue. Keyframe knows what I'm talking about. I am Silver Quill, the man, the myth, the hippogriff. I MLP reviewer, also do some online comics. I've been a part of the Brody fandom since about 2012. And at the risk of sounding full of myself, I'm kind of a big deal.
I mean, you're not a has-been like us, so.
True.
Oh, come on.
I mean, you.
No.
You cracked the 100K with mostly review-based videos, which is, I believe not many can say this.
Yeah, very few.
I've also been slower than any of the other reviewers.
That is true. Which season are you currently on reviewing?
Well, I jumped ahead to the final season, and I'll be recording The Point of No Return.
Well, so Tim, what's been going on in your life? I'm sure you've had many of adventures recently, as we all have.
Oh, well, actually, my life has gotten more social as a result of all that's going on. Wow. As now I am in Zoom calls and Discord calls and online conventions, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to show people my home by appearing on webcam. No, it's a mess.
I don't know that feeling.
Tish Pashon nonsense. That's quaint.
I mean, depending on where you're looking, there is a mess back here.
Get a pile of laundry in the corner and we'll talk.
I mean, you don't know what's behind that bed.
There's the reason why I'm sitting with my back to a wall for this show, so the entire rest of my flat can be as messy as it is.
That's true. I've seen it. Yes.
Now, I will say that when Key is offering someone to show their bed.
Okay, what's been going on in your life? We are moving on. This show can only be so long.
Meaning she can only go so long before she starts tearing out her hair. Well, 2012. It's 2020. 2012, that was back when I started as a brony. 2020. I started a new job in the first week of January. I'm not 4 months in, and I'm working remote, thereby losing all of the on-the-job training and practice. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me here.
Oh, that's lovely.
We had a new colleague to our team starting March 1st.
Ouch.
A week. Ouch. I had like around about a week to showing a little bit the ropes, in which he also spent a lot of time in our onboarding process and general onboarding, like with the HR department and whatnot. And then I went away a week to California. And when I came back, we were already stuck in home office. So he's still with us. But
remotely.
A remote connection.
Oh, boy.
much the similar situation. I'm not the newbie, or at least I'm not the newest newbie. We also had a new person come on, and I think got maybe 2 weeks under his belt before the lockdown. So I don't know if he's even working remote. I think they have him working on other projects. So it's just like, what can you do just to keep you involved and keep the paycheck going as best we can? Mm-hmm. Because no one knows how this is going to play out.
No. But any fun things? You said Zoom calls, conventions.
Oh, Zoom calls. Well, this is where even my family now is forced to endure my sound effects.
Same. Big mood.
So I've actually become quite proficient at Zoom. I can set up virtual backgrounds, and so I've broadcasted from Hell, Gumdrop Land, Equestria, Clouds, Space, and every time my family gets a good kick out of it, or my brother just buries his head in his face and his head in his face. Yeah.
I wouldn't know what that's like.
It's when you sour so much that you just implode.
I mean, can I find it quickly on that note? So I cannot find it. Damn it! Maybe it's in downloads. Yes. So I actually started using this in call backgrounds with official calls, also not with Zoom, but similarly keyed out with a green screen. That I had used this background in the last company meeting.
Wait, keyed out with a green screen? You have an orc?
Yes.
You have a pet orc?
Yes, I have, but he's very camera shy, so I cannot bring him on here, sadly. And he's also mute and not allowed to touch anything, so he can also not make noises to prove his existence. You just have to take my word for it.
Wait, I just put it together. The orc is in this call because Keyframe doesn't have green skin or paint. She has green skin and human paint, and some of it's coming off. That's it.
Okay, I don't know I don't know what kind of Pleasantville universe you're living in right now that I can make perfect skin tone with just makeup, but.
I have faith in your talents.
I mean, Jack Nicholson did it in the first Batman movie, so...
Movies aren't real, and I feel like having to explain this says more about me than you. So, anyways, continuing.
I just want to note that, Keyframe, you need more confidence in your abilities. I'm offering you a compliment, orc. I've got an orc and a ferret.
You can't say I'm offering you a compliment and then call me an orc.
Oh, are you an anti-orcist? I see. She's orchestrating all this.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting for that one. But knowing it doesn't make the pain any less. In fact, it makes it worse. Are we done with your week? Because we can move on.
I'm just starting with the year. I mean,
it's true.
I got one convention under my belt before the lockdown happened, HarmonyCon, where I had the great pleasure of seeing folks like Lightning Bliss, Fiora the Tank Girl. I think Chucklebug was there. Yes. And, of course, my friend Sky of Sky Railroads, Igor, My Little Ties, and just had a lot of fun getting to present at HarmonyCon. It really, while I was kind of afraid would the job take away so much of my effort, HarmonyCon was a real shot to the spirit. Yeah, I still enjoy doing this. I'm still going to do the Baroni thing. And then this happened. And so now I have actually taken to streaming as well on Fridays. I'm trying to work on Patreon reward tiers and get people poses, artwork, and trying to invite people just to come on and shoot the breeze while I work. Also because the chat goes by so fast I can't answer questions. I need help.
Man, what's that like?
I mean, the trick that I used to do back in the day was have somebody else as a voice of the chat with me in call. Somebody who is just looking at the chat and reading it out to you so you can focus on what you're doing.
Well, as one can tell, Focus and I are not the best of friends anyway.
Exactly.
But it helps that I learned, thanks to Mad Munchkin, I learned Restream, which can let you do Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And it integrates the two chats, And that's why it goes by kind of fast, because it's technically 2 sites. You guys have a healthy and active fan base type in there.
I mean, I wouldn't say healthy. They're watching us, and we're basically junk food. So.
But they're enjoying watching you go crazy from my puns. I think that's very healthy.
And people also enjoy eating junk food. This is not negating my point.
Yeah, I enjoy food. Also, I see Frau Blucker.
Oh gosh, but yeah. So you said that you were doing online conventions. I know, given that I was vending at the same one, you did Pony Fest online and stuff. How is that like being a? How is doing a panel thing like that? Because I am apparently doing one at this next one coming this week.
Excellent.
I don't know this world.
Well, it's weird for me because right now I got my camera right now and my monitor is open. Yeah. So forgive me if I'm glancing away, I'm actually seeing your faces. It's very weird to try and present it to a camera. And I find that there's a much more fun and energy when I'm seeing actual people and going back and forth.
Yeah.
But if you get into a passion of the presentation, if you really start getting into the idea, I think that energy builds. So maybe you'll be a little awkward at the start. Don't worry. Don't beat yourself up. Just keep going, and before you know it, you're running along.
You're asking me to not beat myself up? Do you not know me? Half of my jokes are me beating myself up.
But to quote one of my favorite songs, I know you're strong and bold.
Yeah. That's why I beat myself up. It keeps me humble. But anyways, so yeah, is there any other notable things you have going on?
Well, let's see here. I haven't heard if the panel I submitted for Ponyfest Online 2 will be accepted or not. Not yet. I will be part of. I'm going to apply to Babs Conline, and I will be a part of Midair Ponyfest on May 1st.
Same.
So he's good times.
It's something to fill the void, the very, very, very quiet void. Except, the internet's never quiet. It's silent screaming. So it's like when your mouth is open and there are vibrations going into the world, but you can't hear them. It's like a dog whistle.
Well, and then I could just make.
See, that's not a dog whistle because I can hear it.
But I guess I'm the only one who has anything pony going on in my life. I mean, I barely have anything going on in my life as it is.
You realize you have a brony reviewer right here now. Tangential.
Yeah, no, but in all seriousness, so far 2020 we had quite a bunch of our fandom friends on the show. So 2020 has been very 2020 has been very brony heavy on the AWKWARDCast.
Yeah, don't get used to that, people.
Eventually we run out of friends, and then we have to awkwardly try to car new people in here who are not sick of us yet, who don't know better.
Oh my God, socializing.
Okay, you're done talking. Moving on to Max. How was your week?
It was mostly dominated by Stardew Valley. I don't even know what caused it that I fell back into it so heavily.
Just the siren's call of Stardew Valley.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I believe was it already last call where last AWKWARDcast where we speculated that it was because somebody dragged Animal Crossing into this household.
Yeah, so Stardew Valley is your Animal Crossing.
Basically, at this point, with the difference that I enjoy that this game has no real life time restrictions because nowadays it's like, hey. It's Saturday. We should go to grocery shopping before it gets too busy. Yeah, I still need to do my daily routine, like my daily chores. Like that's the reason why I don't. And here's this fun thing that in the very beginning when Denim Ninja got this game and explained me how it works, I was like, this all sounds nice and neat, and would probably be down my alley. A little bit of an issue I have with this real life. Connect with this real life connection thing where your shops are open at actual real times on the island. Like if it's 10 p.m. in reality, the shops are closed in there. Like this sounds too stressful. This is too close to real life.
I know the feeling because I have Animal Crossing on the Switch Lite, and I understand the appeal.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why they do it. Animal Crossing is not a game that should have came out during lockdown, because then you realize these mechanics can be annoying as shit. Because I am playing it, and also I'm just not good with these games where you have to maintain social relationships with your neighbors, because the thing I've been obsessed with in the game is fishing and catching fossils and bugs and stuff. And it's like, hey, you should go talk to your neighbor. How's Hazel doing? How's Buddy doing? I don't care. I'm trying to catch this goddamn koi fish.
Oh, this reminds me.
Yeah, and it's been... No, I'm just saying I like it. I like the game. It's chill as hell. And when you have friends that you can, like, go to their islands and stuff and all that kind of thing, it's cool because like the DA crew all have it, so we just go to different people's islands and all that, and it's peaceful. But that's the thing, I don't want peace. I'm an agent of chaos. So the game I got back into this week was Heroes of the Storm, but I'll talk about that when I get into my week. Go back to your Stardew Valley talk.
But what you described reminds me so of Yuri, who got me into Stardew Valley and who finished it long before me. However, he finished it like endgame and getting to all the later quest stuff without having made any friends. He completely ignored the social mechanics, but he also ignored the fishing mechanics. So he had a super efficient money producing farm. He probably had explored the mines, the alternate mines, whatnot. But yeah, when I was then talking about, I'm friends with everybody and I have this achievement and I'm now getting married, and he's like, I don't remember any of the NPCs. I never talked to them. Like, God damn it.
It's just weird for me, given that I played Harvest Moon a lot as a kid, on those platforms, and I was perfectly fine with it. But there must have been something that changed from my childhood, adolescence to the Chrissy we know today, where I just don't have patience with interaction. The closest thing is Sims, and even then, I mostly like killing people.
You became a vendor at conventions. This happened.
That's my fucking Animal Crossing.
So as I understand it, you said to your neighbors, "I'm not your friend, buddy. I'm not your buddy, guy."
Friend.
He is not your friend, pal.
I'm not your pal, guy.
We can do this for an hour. Let's see how many viewers are still left. No, but also something miraculous happens this week.
I left the house.
Well,
you watched
grocery shopping.
Oh, okay.
You watched Miraculous Ladybug?
Oh, we are already caught up to that.
We're up to date on that one, buddy.
What was it? It actually was only 3 seasons, right? They just stretched it out for so long, or is it still only 2 seasons?
There's 3 seasons, and now they're making some kind of New York special, and the season 4 is still in production.
I mean, we already talked about it. They did some very weird, but not.
We never actually talked about season 3 on this show. So.
But yeah, to end of season 3, they did some actual game changes. Some of them felt a little bit too dark, and they also did interesting stuff to the character dynamics. There was like, you don't usually see this happen. It might be actually refreshing.
No, I mean the Cat Blanc episode was the one that kind of annoyed you, because it was like this is really like all cool stuff, and then the end happened and you're like, I'm kind of annoyed with this episode.
Yes, because it's but
we'll talk about that another time.
We do this another time. But no, the miracle that happens that due to this draw 6 fan art for 6 characters thing, I actually reused my tablet, and to give people here a little bit of a sneak peek exclusively.
He's doing a good job so far.
Yeah, I have the first 2 characters out of 6 done, and now it's a little bit. Weep. Oh yeah.
I suggested the second one.
Does that bat have a peg leg?
It
yeah,
does.
it's a Dora bat from Mau Mau, which if you haven't seen Mau Mau, what's wrong with you? It's a great show. And we actually used that as a palate cleanser during a lot of shows.
Actually, really, we watched how far is available so far, and we were shocked by the fact that there was not a single bad episode.
Yeah, it's so good. Like genuinely, because we're nitpickers. We will criticize things we like to hide. It's almost like that was our hobbies, but
personally, I am shocked.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll criticize the things we like to high heaven.
But yeah, Mau Mau.
But we couldn't find anything bad about Mau Mau.
Stuff for criticism probably is there, but every single episode was satisfying as a whole, and like.
The worst it ever did was it had endings where we were like, what? But like a funny one, like oh, okay, that was the ending, like weird, but not bad weird. But I
actually started drawing, Stardew Valley, actually studying for my Salesforce certificate. As in actually doing some test exams every other day. Every day I'm doing 1 or 2 test exams. That's what I wanted to say.
Those are fun, and your week actually mirrors a lot of my week. Weirdly enough.
Do tell, Zegway.
Great transition. Hi guys, it's me, your girl. So my week. Hi. My week has been. I think this has actually been the first week in like for the past month of April and end of March where I didn't go outside at all. Brett and Taylor went grocery shopping. I was completely inside. Well, okay, that's a lie. The week I had COVID, or the 2 weeks I had COVID, I didn't go outside at all. But I mean, I went outside to go on the patio because I'm in a square. My window is actually my patio deck thing because I'm on the second story of this apartment thing is out there. But I would go out there just to breathe, whatever breathing is when you're sick like that. But no, I was just inside this entire fucking week, and I don't know how to feel. I need to go outside. I am so. I need the gym. I don't have gym stories anymore. That's the worst thing.
Yeah, it's
but
true.
But no, this is just the thing of I think I felt. Trust me, the story will get more brighter as this goes on. But I need to rant. No, it's just I think I finally felt how out of routine everything is, and it mostly is the gym because I go to the gym pretty much every day or every other day, and. The thing is, everyone's like, oh, just work out from home. I do that. But here's the thing. If you ever go to the gym to me, you'll notice where I am in the gym is usually the barbells and weights. I do weightlifting 75% of my workout. Yeah, I don't have a barbell here. I am not privileged because you know how much those things cost? Those things are, I looked on Amazon, a basic barbell set with no weights, just the bar is like $200.
I might be able to help with you, kinda. Pardon me as I go get something.
Oh no, but no, just the thing is, I lift heavy weights. I'm not like, I mean, I have tiny weights back here, but I lift I bench, squat, fucking. Before this quarantine, 135 pounds. I can bench press my weight. And I don't have it here, and it's pissing me off. I'm getting roid rage because I just don't have a means of lifting anything. I could pick up Taylor and Britt, but I think that's counted as assault. No, it's just that's been. What are you doing?
I am trying to offer you helpful advice because sometimes I actually can be helpful. Okay, first off,
sounds sincere.
You have blue band.
Oh, resistance bands. I do have those.
Do you have something long like the red and the peach?
No.
Okay, so what I recommend is look these up. Let's see here. These are, I'm going to hold up Rogue. Is this visible?
Barely.
It says Rogue Fitness.
I saw that brand.
Yes.
It is out of stock here in California.
Curse is an expletive deleted. Well, I'll see if I can help you out there. The thing is, I've been doing remote training as well with my trainer. He has me take these two bands and a broom.
And this is advice for anyone in this chat, because let me tell you, there's nothing like getting your rage out by lifting weights.
I saw this here, but it's also sold out.
Oh, the ring fit? Yeah, that's sold out. Trust me, I looked.
A friend asked me to mail that to her.
Because this looks really interesting with the gamification.
Dusty and Saber both have this, and they keep singing its praises. Yeah. But anyways, moving on.
I don't know if I want to hear Dusty sing, but basically just loop the two bands around a broom, step on the bands, and the broom becomes your barbell with a heck of a lot of resistance.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people do that, and it's not a bad idea. I'm just annoyed. My routine became like 75% strength and resistance training and 25% cardio, and cardio is so boring. Unless you're doing dancing and stuff, which I have done, like dancing's fun, but when I go to the gym, I use the stair machine because climbing stairs is more interesting than a treadmill. I don't fucking care that a treadmill is the cheapest thing on Amazon when it comes to workout equipment. I get bored. If I'm walking, I want to go somewhere.
But what music do you listen to while you do this?
Usually like very heavy pop or dance music, like things that I wouldn't just sit down and listen to. I need to move around. But then again,
I'm sorry, the correct answer would have been Stairway to Heaven music.
Anyways, moving on from exercise rants. I've just been doing stuff to occupy my brain because my brain is a very dense thing. Like cooking, baking, the Band-Aid that I have on my middle finger is actually because
you flipped people off so hard that you hurt your finger.
Shut up. No, what if I got a wound on my middle finger just to be like, you want to see where I got cut? No, the cooks and bakers and people in the chat will attest, or they will cringe heavily at what I did. I made meringues and I don't have an egg beater, like an electric mixer. So I took 2 forks, put them together and made a whisk. And I was whisking egg whites for like a half hour. And I got a blister from having the fork pressed against my finger. Those meringues are good. I like them. I still have them in my kitchen. But God, that wasn't my smartest idea. But besides that, I've been getting back into painting. That's the reason why I have my hand all covered in crap is because I'm painting Peridot.
A likely story, Orc.
But I also released a video a couple days ago. I did a cover of Ruby Rider from Steven Universe. I actually recorded a lot of songs that same day. And Ruby Rider is both one of my favorite covers, but one of my least favorites, simply because I hate country music. And my voice translates really well to country music. I can do a convincing Southern accent because I lived in Green-Tucky. I can do a lot of the Southern drawl and all that and twang, and I hate it. Like math, I'm really good at it, but I don't like it. Chi-Chi, who was a person who was on the podcast before, did the artwork. I didn't ask her to. I was saying I need to commission someone, and she was like, okay, hold on. And then like the next night she was like, here you go. And I was like, do you want me to pay you? And she's like, no, it's just as friends. And I was like, is this like a drug dealer thing where the first time is free? But yeah, so, I've been doing that. And the other thing I've been doing which is why I'm saying that I'm mirroring and why I'm doing the 6 fan art thing. I don't have a sneak peek. But I'm doing super heroines and super villainesses because women are fun to draw. And I got a lot of good suggestions. I also got a lot of weird ones, but I'm not complaining. Someone suggested, I think, like, Link. And I'm like, you do know Link's not a girl? Unless you're talking about the girl Link that was in some of those Nintendo Power magazines. But yeah, then the other thing is I've been taking some practice exams for certifications. which are not the same as like diplomas and shit like that. They're just basically tests you take and then you get certified for things. And I've been wanting to do that for marketing, international business, and those and advertising. When I wanted to go to college, before I realized how much of a scam college is, that was going to be my minor. It was marketing or business, and I'm really good at this stuff. So I've been taking like practice exams and stuff. So when I can eventually, when the world's done being on fire, I can go and get those certifications. So that way I can walk up to people and be like, I'm certified to talk about this.
Hey, and with that, you already answered one of the questions we got for today.
Yeah.
Somebody in the Discord literally asked, what are you guys planning to do when the world stops being on fire? We already have Keyframe's answer.
Oh, well, cool. But yeah, so that's been my life. My life has also been having Lauren expose me to terrible things, and with that we move on to media.
Oh, really? Really?
Before we do, though, can I just say, I would love to see a drug dealer with a voice you just impersonated. Like, yeah, I got the good stuff right here.
Also, one thing that I got reminded of when you mentioned that you sometimes step out just to get a bit of fresh air. We have a great system for it over here now because we adopted. Meet Basil.
Oh, you guys got a plant.
It's literally Basil, the cheap throwaway Basil you get in a supermarket.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Denim set it in her head to keep it alive. And now it got a big plant pot and everything. And the thing is, my flat is super shitty in regards to sunlight.
Yeah.
So the balcony is more or less to the north with a teeny tiny bit of east. So in the very morning hour, you get a teeny tiny bit of sun on the furthest corner of the balcony. So in the morning, first thing after getting up, Basil out on the balcony. Then
this is not a good idea. This is very stupid.
Then
I just never thought he'd take up pot.
I took a pot. Throughout the day then, the sun is very soon gone from the balcony, but eventually it reappears in my bathroom window. So, in the early afternoon, we take Basil over to the bathroom window so he gets a little bit more sun.
It's a migrating plant. Cool. Just like an actual Italian. But, yeah, anyway.
That's how we get our fresh air in here.
Awesome.
Thanks to
How
Basil.
much is that basil in the window?
But yeah, you
Nice.
wanted to transition to horrible media, and for some reason it's not the Apple.
No, I will say this. I live messaged Matt
That's
before we
true.
get to this. Quick tangent about the Apple. Only because the story behind this is funnier than the actual movie. So like Max was messaging me and he's like, "Hey, I got reminded of that movie we were finding in the line for Knott's Berry Farm, which is The Apple, which is a movie from the early 80s, and it's terrible." And he's like, "Maybe you should try to watch it. Maybe it'll distract yourself." And I found that it was free on Amazon Prime. Free is too expensive for this movie.
Oh boy, I never saw the poster for it. That is a poster, all right.
But yeah, so I started watching it, and then I just kept messaging Max throughout it, being like, this movie's so bad. And he's
How
like,
bad is it?
Oh, so bad.
Just
You should
check her
live tweet
Twitter,
it.
yeah.
And then I started live tweeting it, and I kept messaging him separate messages through it, including one which was my genuine reaction to it becoming hell. I wish I was filming when it went out of hell, because that was probably an even louder scream. But like, I had to stop when the police were jazzercising because this movie was pissing me off. I think I messaged Max being like, I think I'm venting a lot of frustration into this movie because watching it makes me want to punch something. And so I'm currently like 45 minutes into this movie. I don't know when I'll continue watching it. I'm honestly considering having a Twitch stream of my reaction to the movie. People can't... I would get kicked off Twitch if I started live streaming a movie, but you'll see my reactions to the movie.
It's true.
Because, oh my God, this is awful. But yeah, not the Apple. Let's talk about something quality.
I mean, you could just screen share just the time code.
Yeah, it's like a watch along.
Yeah, exactly. But so that people can see where you're currently at, and if they have Amazon Prime, they can go there and then get to the right minute without you illegally sharing it. But yeah, I will link your thread your live tweeting thread in the description down below.
That's an adventure. That thread is an adventure. I think like my favorite part of it is when is hell supposed to happen? Oh wait, here it is. But no. So Lauren messaged me at 2 a.m. The Abby Roadie, our friend, being like, "Have you seen this?" And then link this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is called You Like Jazz, and it's a full-on stage production musical based off the Bee Movie.
Yep, I clicked through it and I realized that it actually is. If you go far enough beyond
it's a 2-hour musical, isn't it? Like, it's near 2 hours.
You can go to there's a courtroom. I found the courtroom theme with the lawyer character.
Yeah, so I've watched this like 4 times, and I could say that I had more entertainment value out of this than the Apple. But so to explain, apparently this happened in 2018 and they lost the footage, but then miraculously they just found it. Like, this was only uploaded like a week or so ago. And words cannot describe the feelings I feel towards this anomaly. Because this is basically if Bee Movie was like a PG-13 movie. Because they go full in with the Barry and the human relationship. Vanessa, the girl, has a whole song about My Little Bedbug, singing a love song about Barry.
Okay.
The entire You Like Jazz scene is a musical number where Barry plays We Are Number One on the saxophone. And then, the skull with the duding trumpet comes in, and so does Squidward.
Wait, what?
It's earlier.
But so they are also completely.
They acknowledge many of memes.
Yes.
They.
It looks a little bit like. Is it a small time production?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of college kids who were just like, hey, we should make a musical about the Bee Movie, and then they made a full. Tommy Wiseau is a prominent character in this movie.
Oh, okay.
And then they had like a fucking. So they added a new character named Lydia. So Matthew Broderick Bee, that's in it, starts a romance with a spider. They have an entire tango number. Yeah, there's her number. I have to respect passion, because this was obviously a passion project. Because Lord knows Logic does not advertise this. But you know what? Some of these songs are kind of bops. I really like the Spider song, and I do like this Bedbug song, because the girl who plays Vanessa has a fantastic voice. I don't know how to describe it. It really is you need to watch this, because
I will link it.
I will say this. I feel like if this had more production cost and stuff, could actually be a really good musical. Like, genuinely, it does radiate potential. Kind of like how you don't expect Shrek to make a good musical, and it is a good musical. So I feel like I kind of want to see this with like an actual cast album where things are nicely recorded, because that's the fair warning. Some of the audio in here is kind of not good.
Yeah, I already heard the big guy clipping when he talked earlier.
Yeah, so it's just if you're sensitive to those audio issues, you're going to get annoyed during this. But they also have parodies of other musicals in here. Like, there's a whole medley of Dear Evan Hansen. The courtroom scene is based off the cabinet battles in Hamilton, and I enjoy that. This is something. Thank you, Lauren, for you are the reason I did not sleep that night, because I decided to watch this, and then watch it again, and then watch it again, and then watch it again. Because when I find something fascinating, I don't just watch it and put it away. I have to analyze every single crumb.
Well.
But yeah, that's my media.
Huzzah.
And the moral of the story is, if a show is rotten to the core, let it be.
Hey. Oopsie.
Hey.
So, what?
It's our show now.
It's very true. So, what show did you bring, or what media did you bring for us today?
Well, it depends on how recent it has to be. Because just before the lockdown, I saw Onward.
I mean, we already talked about it, but I guess we can take your spin on it.
Well, I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed that it's a buddy movie. It's, a trip between brothers. But it doesn't follow all the tropes and cliches. There's a moment where like, oh no, don't have the breakup misunderstanding moment. We've seen that so many times. Or at least I have. I'm old and bitter. But it avoided a lot of the really annoying tropes, and I actually came to enjoy the characters more than I thought it would. I thought they were going to get hung up on the premise. Oh, it's a fantasy world, but with modern themes. And instead, no, they actually kept that to a minimum. And instead, it really was a character-driven piece, which I greatly enjoyed. But if you want to talk about media, I'll bring you something from across the sea. As one of my main interests right now is Kamen Rider 01.
Ooh.
Which is by no means the first.
Oh, Onward.
Nope, too late.
Yep, we were just, I got to see it just before the lockdown happened.
We saw it before the lockdown happened, too.
So
let's see.
It was fun.
Did I find the right one?
That is 01 in his base form, of course, because of merchandising.
All right, I'm just now realizing I'm actually looking at an action figure.
Believe me, it's hard to tell. As the Kamen Rider, there is always a advertising toy element. I should know because I bought my friends some of the props, and I own a few myself. But here's the thing. What's interesting about this is that while it is your Japanese superhero costume, the setting is a world where artificial intelligence beings called humagears are a part of everyday society. And it's surprising how well they tackle the concept of if you had these beings, not quite sentient, but very human-like. One, what does that do to jobs? What does it do to human development and motivation? And sometimes this could work really well, and where sometimes this could actually sabotage you. One point is that there was a humagear doctor. He had complete access to the web and all medical databases, so he could look up and diagnose anything like that. And that actually made me think of back in 2006, a veterinarian prescribed some bandages to help my dog after surgery, and he had not done his research to see that these bands could cause seizures. And he basically killed my dog. And that was hard. So when I saw this, I thought, yeah, this is one case where I would definitely take this artificial intelligence over a human who might not check all their sources. But in another episode, a firefighter humagear looked at a person who'd been down by debris in a fire, there flames everywhere, and he said, that individual is deceased, I cannot help them. A flesh and blood firefighter is like, what is wrong with you? Goes over and actually is able to revive the downed victim. So in some ways, like, yeah, that cold logic could really sabotage the efforts, that there needs to be a human element, even human stubbornness. And so I thought, that's really well done. That is not something I would expect from a show that, well, as is so often a criticism, it was just made to sell toys.
Yeah, that gives it a certain level of depth.
And, of course, I should also just say that the main hero, Aruto, he drops these really terrible, terrible puns. And therefore, he is my spirit animal.
Now we know why you like the show.
And he does this weird catchphrase, that's how you know it's Aruto!
How and where does one find this show?
Well, Keyframe won't find out because I apparently scared her off with more puns. They weren't even mine. It is airing in Japan right now. There is a fan subber over.ti dash n. It's overtime fan subs.
Uh-huh.
But let me just look up the web address because it's a play. Over hyphen ti.me.
Overtime.
Yes, overtime fan subs. They're tackling.
Why did you need to spell that?
Because it's more the hyphen that throws everyone off, and the dot that it's an ME domain.
Ah, okay.
Besides, I like to be thorough, if nothing else. KEYFRAME.
Ay, ay, ay.
THEORC. She's spelling it out. I love it.
Okay.
But what did you say? Fan dub or fan sub?
Fan sub.
Ooh, you lost me.
What? What's
No,
wrong with okay, yeah.
He's a slow reader. I think this has come up in like 3 podcasts in a row so far that Max is not a fan of sub because he doesn't like pausing.
Yeah, Into the Abyss threw me off. Parasite is a problem for me, and well, now Kamen Rider 01 apparently.
So, well, if you want fan dub, I can give you a truly awful and yet sort of so bad it's hilarious.
I mean,
yes.
I'm old enough to have lived through the first anime fan dubs, being the source for the Western world. So
See, Tim,
really
what you need to do is dub this for Max, and then be like, "Here you go, buddy," and you play every character.
Even the ladies. Oh, I have to hit myself several times.
Like mostly the ladies, like.
Yeah, just take up a fist, look down, and go. Oh! There you go. No, upset.
I did not need that image. There's many things I need right now, and that was not one of them.
Well, there you go. I'm glad I could make your day. If you do want a dub of an older show that actually aired in America, this is the weird part. Did either of you watch Power Rangers at any point in your early lives? Did you know that's not the first Japanese superhero show that made it over to the shores?
Oh, I know. I have seen one where...
Wasn't Ultraman the first one or something?
I know one where there is a policeman with his car, and his car can, when he transforms, his car also transforms.
Makes sense. Nope. What I'm talking about, you can YouTube this. Just do a search for Dynaman Dub.
Oh, Dynaman!
You've seen that?
Yes, I have. Yes.
It is I watched a few episodes because a friend of mine, Kaiju no Kami, god of giant monsters, he does Sentai reviews. And when he's covering Japanese Dynaman, he wants to tackle the American dub, which is meant to be god-awful. It is the most intentionally bad dub you could come across.
So bad. I think my cousins in New York had a VHS tape recordings of these, and that's how I watched them. And my God, they're bad.
I'm afraid the YouTube recordings are all taken off VHS, because there was a slight generational gap involved.
It'll feel like memories. It'll be nostalgic.
Man. Actually, the funny thing is, I did once see Dynaman when I was a kid. I had no idea what it was. Power Rangers was just a distant blip on the horizon. And even then, I thought it was kind of cool. So I was predisposed.
It was foreshadowing.
Yes. Honestly, so much of my life just makes sense in hindsight. I watched Sailor Moon when other people said that's for girls. I watched Power Rangers even though they said you're too old for it. And here I am now watching My Little Pony, a show for girls for which I am too old. And that's to expectations.
You are a living subversion.
That's right. To quote Ishmael, that you have mother culture trying to read you a script, and I throw the script away.
Oh well.
Oh no, the script had the cure for world hunger. How dare you? That was your destiny. Now you're just watching ponies.
So I open a fast food restaurant and that cures world hunger, but then I add to world obesity.
Tricky situation. But yeah, who would you recommend or to watch Kamen Rider, and who would you say to stay away from it?
So I recommend people to watch Kamen Rider? All right. Here's the thing. depending on the Kamen Rider, it can actually be very surprising and dark. If you take Power Rangers, which is bright and energetic, Kamen Rider is its darker twin older brother.
The edgy one?
Darker twin older brother. It's older by 1 second.
Okay.
It's the darker older brother.
That didn't help lowering that volume, Max.
I would say...
Why not make it right into the mic?
Sure.
I would say anyone who, one, is fine with reading subtitles, because I think this is a show that only can work in its native Japanese format, is willing to give it a little time, because some of them take a little while to get going with a surprisingly mature story for what seems like utterly absurd premise. For example, one of my favorites, Kamen Rider Gaim, starts with dance crews in Japan competing for territory through dance-offs, and yet by the end, it's meant to represent feudal Japan, parallel the historical factions. But by the end, they are quite literally attacking each other with weapons as the world is burning. I was like, wait, how did we start with this and end up with this? The connection is like, wow, you took me by surprise. I thought it would be god-awful. I thought I would just say this is so dumb and kiddish, and it completely surprised me.
Huh.
I realized that there's a great deal of hypocrisy in saying, oh, this is dumb and kiddish, right, Brony? But Kamen Rider sets a different standard.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is also, you're talking to the same people that I think on our current watch list is Scooby-Doo and Talking Ducks. So...
Hey, DuckTales is awesome.
It is.
DuckTales is awesome. But yeah, so if that's your recommendations and anti-recommendations, I guess the only one left is The Boy.
Yeah. So I was considering what to talk about, because with the gap in the middle, I was torn between two media. I will only go for one. The other one is...
Good.
Yeah, I know, right? The other one I hope to be able to return to. It's mostly about an author, which... audiobooks I got basically got turned a fan into. His name, I guess I can at least share, is...
You can at least say his name.
Brandon Sanderson. And
I know that.
yeah, he made the one series which I first ran into, which I really much liked, but as always, there are 2 parts out, and now it's... Wait, I have to wait for more parts to be written, which is Skyward's trilogy? Quadrilogy? I don't know. I've
Saga.
Saga. The first 2 are out. I listened to the first one. I was like, oh! I listened to the second one. Shit, it stays good. And then in order to pass the time, there was...
What is your expectations of it stays good?
Yes, the thing is that it felt...
How much shit have you read?
No, the first book ended on a tone where I was like, okay, this requires a complete... They changed the setting, the status quo, so much that I am not sure if this story with this character and everything, how this will continue from here. And well, the trick was that he continued the story in the second book, but he created a complete new setup which I didn't even expect to be an option, and it still felt organic and worked, which is a good thing, why he's a good author. And I jumped on another book, which was a series, which was a Reckoners, which is finished. I got to finish it. But yeah.
Finally.
I will...
But your actual media.
Yes, I will maybe talk about it when he makes the next book of Skywards, or I pick up another of his many series. And I noticed some recurring themes with him, and I want to check out another series of him to see if those are mandatory or just coincidental. But yeah, what I also checked out over the last few weeks and finished the first season of is a promising show by DC, which is the superhero girls talking about media.
Wait, you continued watching this without me? We were watching this together.
Apparently I did.
Betrayal.
Well,
I know,
fuck you.
betrayal.
I was waiting to watch this more with you. Great. Cool.
Well,
anyways, opinions.
Oh, exactly. Opinion. I started to grow a more and more mixed opinion about it. Initially, I was like, "Hey, I'm in love with the aesthetics, so it looks phenomenal. The humor, also like, especially with Bad Girl, who is just insane, like legit insane. God, is there much spoiler in this trailer?
Yeah, stop playing it,
Yeah,
please.
I really should, shouldn't I? So, but the thing is, the more I watched of it, the more I got to a point where I was like, some things are off with the show and they just continue and they double down on it stronger and stronger. Like it's
I know I've heard that their portrayal of the male superheroes
Yes.
aren't that great.
no, it's like even Superman is an unbearable asshole, and not because he's a goody two shoes, because he is like every male in this show, completely self-absorbed, ignorant, talking down to the girls. It's like,
Oh no!
Uh-huh.
Wait, is Barry Allen like that? Because in the
Barry-
shorts he was awesome.
no, Barry is actually, I would say, the only male character who is
Yes, he's a good waiter.
still likable. He is like he's basically a waiter in this ice cream parlor where they go to, and it's he is Barry Allen is really he's holding up a sign for the guy the males in this show. But yeah, males are really unbearably dumbed down and made unlikable outright. Then we have, but it's not just the guys. It's also, then there's an ongoing theme with where the entire setup keeps falling apart. So they are all in high school. Okay, I mean, except for Diana, who is an immortal goddess who just happens to look like a teenager, even though she is at this point a few hundred years old. But due to being raised on Themyscira and just recently escaping from there, she is naive and ignorant enough that she still goes can function as a clueless teenager.
Wait, how does that work given that her love interest is in the show? Because I do know
He's
that
also
his
a teenager. Everybody's a teenager. Batman hasn't been shown yet. Batman has not been shown, and I'm wondering, like, Batman must also be literally. Superman is basically no. Superman was very clearly pointed out because Lois Lane is in the show and she's a teenager. Everybody's a fucking teenager.
what kind of Smallville bullshit is this?
But they're all fully developed, and so Superman apparently already graduated, so he is maybe 20 or something, but Lois Lane,
So college age.
yeah,
Oh,
but
it's a college know-it-all.
But Lois Lane is still in high school, so there's a little bit of a. It might still be covered by Romeo and Julia law, but there's already like a little bit like, this age gap is.
I mean, senior in high school, freshman in college, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, but this one can be overlooked, I guess. But yeah, Batman.
I don't know. That sounds rather pale in comparison to Diana of Cougar Skura.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
that's the weird thing, because I know that character is in the. I've seen clips, but I haven't watched the full thing.
But yeah, then it also is continuous with issues like, okay, so as you maybe spotted in the trailer earlier, you saw a bunch of supervillainesses.
Yeah.
Here's also something that, once again, I have the feeling somebody fucked up. Like, as many shows who have been screwed over by a release, by a mixed-up release order.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this early, which is called Beeline or something, very early on, in which you have this lineup of supervillains. Like supervillainesses, whatever the plural is.
Yeah,
you have this line.
Catwoman.
Yeah, exactly. You have this completed lineup of them. And after that, throughout the rest of this season, you get introduced to these characters. So they only get introduced after they hit their big team-up episode. And to top it all off, I guess tiny spoilers, but sorry, the season's premiere is that those supervillains meet for the first time.
Oof.
Also, they never capture anybody. Everybody always gets away, and all the supervillainous alter egos are high school students with them, and they never catch on in either direction. The heroines never catch on to the villainesses, even so they are complete assholes and bullies in the school. And they clash sometimes even as they're civil, and it's like, wait. How is this villain currently stalking? So the villain is stalking Diana, but then Wonder Woman then turns into Wonder Woman to fight the villain, and nobody is realizing like. And this is an ongoing thing. They don't figure it out. There's one villainess where they actually know the identity, but also they go nowhere with that. It's like, over the span of the season, my suspension of disbelief kept crumbling away.
Yeah, didn't they know? Don't they know that like Barbara, or not our Barbara, like another one is Cheetah?
No, they never figure this out. They don't realize.
Wait, how do they not figure that out? I've
Exactly.
seen that episode. That one is like, I think you could tell who that is.
No, they don't. And Cheetah also didn't figure out that Wonder Woman, who happens to be in the very same spot where she just tried to attack Diana, is Diana. It's everybody is hit with a stupid stick when it comes to that.
None of them wear masks. The only two, well, okay, half of them wear kind of masks, but how did they not know that Diana's Wonder Woman? How did they not know that the purple-haired girl is Zatanna?
I know.
I'm still annoyed that they gave Zatanna purple hair, and she has it in her civilian form too, and it's annoying.
Yeah, and I mean Zatanna is not. Yeah, they are. Blah. But yeah, it more and more. It started. I once again, I love the aesthetics. I love those 6 protagonists as characters, but some of the recurring themes of the show keep coming back, and slowly but surely grind my enjoyment of it away to a point where I'm not sure if I even want to pick up the second season. Maybe I will give it a look. I mean, it is. No, it's not on Netflix. Oh, this is also great. So it's on Netflix, which is why I started watching it again. So,
is it on American Netflix,
I
though?
have no idea. But here is also a great thing. So there is a 2-parter before the season's finale, which also gets referenced in the season's finale. The 2-parter is not on Netflix.
That makes no sense. Though we could blame Netflix more for more than the show.
The official order of the episodes is messed up because of this Beeline episode, but also Netflix didn't get all the episodes.
Oh.
Cool.
I know, and once again, they never actually defeat anybody. The villains always get away. Nobody does. Yeah, it's once you see those things, you realize that. Maybe somebody tell me, is season 2 getting better? Then I will give it another chance. But
yeah, I just want to see. I want to watch it because I did see a clip where Supergirl becomes Power Woman or Power Girl, and I want to see the context for that because it looks nice. But anyways. That aside, we're getting to the Q&A.
Oh, before we do that, I didn't realize that audiobooks were part of Le Media.
Everything
yes, they are.
You can talk about.
Anything you could talk about. We even have topics. One time I talked about the Pudding Man, so.
Well, I just want to throw out there, I've been thoroughly enjoying Pierce Brown's Red Rising saga, which I originally thought was just a trilogy, and then, whoops, there were 2 more books. So I've been listening to those and got pretty well hooked.
That sounds good.
They follow the slogan "War eats the victors last."
So what genre is it though? Is it like a realistic wartime thing? Is it fantasy? What is it?
Sci-fi. It is set in the very distant future, where mankind has colonized several planets.
Sorry, what was the name?
Red Rising.
The Red Rising by Pierce Brown. But there was, of course, a breakdown, and they rebuilt with people divided into castes based on color. You have the labor red force, the ruling gold class, and in between obsidian enforcers, gray logisticians, blue medical workers, so on and so forth. The first 3 books are about a young man who is born a red, but is crafted to look like a gold and starts a full rebellion. But just recently, when I discovered the books Iron Gold and Dark Age, this is set after the revolution, and nothing went as planned. And now he is no longer the idealistic youth or the driven, competitive young man. He's just a guy who's paid the price too many times.
Ooh.
And it's,
I guess not saying more not to spoil, but I'm always up for something new to check out.
now, there is one sci-fi trope that this may
Red
turn
flag?
people off. I don't know. It's odd. They modeled this after Roman society. Dress
Like Acropolis kind of thing?
well, no, like actual Rome. They even refer to themselves using somewhat well, I won't say it's strictly Roman. I don't know Roman nicknames, but if they're trying to be civil, I say Goodman. That's what they actually say. So it's a common trope in sci-fi to model a future society on a past one, because there's always a I guess an attempt to ground in the familiar as you work with the fantastic. These are star-traveling humans who have amazing genetic and technological crafting abilities, and yet they're basing it all on Roman society. And I guess I always kind of wonder, why do we do that? I think it's because we need some sort of grounding before it gets too fanciful. I mean, can you imagine saying to a writer in like the 1800s, "Oh yeah, in our future we talk to boxes that shine lights."
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
and we elect people who starred on a talking box. It's like a rodeo playboy with pictures. I think they throw you in the slammer or the mental house after that.
I could see this happening. Yeah, but I guess we should move on to the Q&A then. I have 2 questions on Twitter. Oh boy, this is one where I'm afraid to see how you respond. From J-Rock. For all 3, would you rather be able to read someone's mind or control their mind?
Well, I will go with read mind, because I'll also say I don't like either option. There's nothing, I think violating the privacy of someone's mind is unethical in all but the most extreme circumstances. But I would go with reading minds, because at least then you'd know if someone was being honest with you, or if you needed some vital information to save a life. That's one way to get it.
That's very idealistic. My answer was going to be also read minds, but because if you can read a mind and you know how they are thinking, you can basically control them anyways.
If you're good at that.
Potentially. But yeah, now the Keyframe also has a chance to give her a shot on the topic. Would you
What did I miss?
rather be able to read someone's mind or control their mind?
Control, obviously. Wait, what did you 2 say, so I could judge myself?
So Silver went for the complete idealistic answer, like controlling minds is wrong, bad. But reading minds can be used for example, helping somebody with crucial information and knowing if they are honest. I went for reading minds because you can use the information to
I'm the odd one out
No,
here.
no. I pick. Oh, you are the odd one out, but not the odd one out in point of idealism. That one goes with him. No, I went for reading minds because if you read minds, you can probably control them as well. So you get both for the price of one.
Look, here's the thing. I can see your logic there with reading minds is also a form of control because you know what they want, dislike, weaknesses, strengths. But controlling is just so much more fucking convenient. Like, let's be real here. there's only so much you can do as a person. So if you read someone's mind and you can find their strategy plan, but it's something that's outside of your, not jurisdiction, but things that you could do. If you could just control minds, you could do whatever the fuck you want. And like, I don't know. To me, I've always said that if I was a superhero or supervillain, my power would be mind control. I think mind control is, my fascination with mind control and hypnosis has been something that I've had since a child. So this is a very easy answer. But also just, fucking, it would be fun. It'd be fun. I wouldn't use it for like malevolent purposes of ruling the world or some shit. I just use it in my everyday life. Like, you know, if someone's being a shithead to someone, or I would just be kind of like, and then the person would stop being a shithead to that person and walk away, maybe crash into a tree, depends on my mood that day. But my alignment is a mystery to people, depending on these podcasts. But like, I just don't, I don't know. To me, there's just more fun opportunities. Because you only have one life and then you die. Might as well have fun doing it. And what's more fun than fucking with people? I've had an interesting past few minutes, so that you got a very interesting answer, audience.
Next question, I guess, from the Discord.
Was this yeah, from the Discord. Was that one on Twitter?
Yes.
Ah, okay. So, I'm not, okay, so Watch DuckTales had 2 questions. The other one I'll say it before, because I need to build up a tolerance first. The first one is, what's the farthest you've ever thrown a brick? I'm going to ask that question with how far have you thrown a brick, Odie? There's a story behind that question. I have thrown a brick before.
I potentially have 2, but not long ago. I also was very small, so I probably didn't throw it very far because I was weak as a child. How about you up there?
Up there? Well, you see down there. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to look down on you.
I put myself into this corner.
Oh,
and myself.
So he likes to be the bottom.
Anyway, so yeah, have you ever thrown a brick, Tim?
Well, yeah, when my computer died on me, I gave it a good chuck.
Oh, well, okay, I guess that counts as a brick. I threw a brick one time when I was like 14, like, because I lived in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, with a bunch of other people who lived in the middle of buttfuck nowhere.
I'll keep doing it.
Okay, there you go. And so you need to do things to pass the time. So I threw a brick or 2 in my day, probably not far. I did win some kind of like little school Olympic thing for throwing a shot put, which is kind of like the heaviness of a brick. So that's something. But yeah, because that was a very quick question, I'm going to do the other question that Odie asked. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone, with 1 brick. Less of a question and more of a setup. How many jokes can each of you tell in 2 minutes? They don't have to be good. They just have to be jokes. Should I get the timer ready?
13.
How do you know you can do 13?
Because all his jokes are unlucky.
Yeah, or you just have your repertoire of jokes and you have them all the time.
You only have 13 jokes.
No, but I try to optimize, so that was a moment of thinking. So I went through my library of jokes in my head. You know, like a mind palace, and I have a timestamp next to each one. And then I arranged them to fill out as much of those 2 minutes as possible, and it came out to 13.
No matter how hard you want to, you're not a robot, and you do realize this, right? You were birthed into this world or an organic being.
There are no witnesses, except my parents.
Your parents.
And the doctors. And the nurse.
I was going to say, your parents... Your mother could probably be a very good witness, stating what you did to her. But yeah, what about you, Tim? How many jokes can you tell in 2 minutes?
How many jokes? I don't know. I'm sure that it's funny. I like to just let it flow from the conversation usually. If I imagine I'll probably get tripped up and be drawing blanks of just jokes I've heard or jokes I've done before or quick one-liners.
Oh, what a shame.
I remember back in the day, I actually had a play of all the Chuck Norris jokes, which was probably like 10 minutes long, and I could talk alongside it. This is years ago, so I cannot do it anymore, but I could talk alongside it. So I probably, if I would be able to prepare for this, I could like probably fire like 25 or 30. I don't know. How long is a Chuck Norris joke? A Chuck Norris joke is only like 10 seconds each, isn't it? So we are talking...
it's like Chuck Norris is so cool, he blanks the blank.
Oh wait, that leaves us with 12 jokes. So my 13 was actually not even that far off from what's realistic.
Anyways, I mean, I can actually give a decent metric, but at the end of the day, it all depends on what kind of joke you're doing. I've timed myself with giving bits because, well, I've done panels which has a time limit. I have stand-up routines that I do, and you got to know how long your routine is if you're going to an open mic because you're only allotted a certain amount of time. But usually, like, bits can range between 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes. So I guess if I'm wanting to do a stand-up thing, one whole joke, but it's a funny one.
Okay, she already won. I mean, Silva and I didn't say anything about funny, and God knows we aren't. Hey-oh.
Look, the biggest joke that I have is my life, and that so far is 23 years long. So, hey, what, do you not have a rim shot, or are you going to do an on with your sound effects?
Well, let's see here. I can give you a...
See, that's perfect. That's the soundtrack. So is there any other Twitter questions, or is it all Discord?
Oh, no, I have my other Twitter question, which already tells you how many I have. From Brendan Croker, and he asks. He does not just ask. He already made his way into my heart because he emphasized his question on Twitter with a certain GIF, which I luckily enough have in this podcast as well. He used
such a shitty gift too. I want to just go and buy because the movie's available on digital. I want to get that and screen record it, like that part.
Here's the thing. I checked today again for shits and giggles because Brandon used it in his tweet, and there is still no higher quality GIF of it. And I know
that's what I'm saying. I want to make a high quality GIF.
And the footage is already out there because I saw Anthony C doing a tweet with a video of this scene, and it was higher quality. It's out there. Why is nobody making this?
Maybe people don't like that dance that much. They want it to remain at this quality.
No, I mean...
I don't know, man. Anyway, what's the question?
Yes, the question. Sorry. What musical genre do you think is vastly overlooked and deserves more attention? Also, obligatory meme, which we already talked about.
Okay, so
musical genre.
Ska.
Death metal polka.
Ooh, now we are talking.
What? Ska isn't a good one?
I mean, but I had polka.
It's true.
You can't beat my polka rage.
Is ska that vastly overlooked?
I mean, outside of the window of time where it did have some level of popularity, you don't see really people talking about it now. Even with the rise of like somewhat retro sounding music, you hear more like electro swing or electro funk or something like that. You don't see anyone trying to revive ska.
Is that SKAA?
No, SKA. It's just SKA.
It's more fun with that.
Ska! Yeah, so.
Ooh, if you really you can add emphasis. Ska?
Ska? Ska? Ska? Ska. Ska, ska, ska. Sounds like a Pokemon after a while. Ska, 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 ska.
Ska, 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 ska.
I don't know. Do I have a...
You need to pick...
A musical genre. I mean, here's the problem with the ones I would name. I'm like, are they really overlooked? Because if I go, for example, BitTunes or something, there are hours upon hours of it.
Chiptunes are not overlooked.
Exactly.
Chiptune. Chiptunes,
what about
electro swing, no.
What about hard pirate movie music? I mean, there is only Aelstrom, but then again, everybody knows Aelstrom, so.
Yeah, but still, you have to say that there's not a lot of variety with it if there's only one notable band. Like, that's the thing. You could say ska music is still alive with Real Big Fish, but what other bands are still touring playing ska music?
It's touring, I don't know. But yeah, okay, so I guess I go with hard pirate music.
Well, there you
go.
Ailstorm. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to the Discord, and there we shall stay.
Okay. Let's see. Darth Raven asks, favorite movie and least favorite movie. I know it's generic, but considering the usual stuff I ask, I think it'd be nice to be normal, or at least as normal as this show gets. You know what, Darth? I respect the rest of that message. Here's the thing. Least favorite movie kind of changes because you're always, because, you know, sometimes you watch The Apple. And then you have to think and reconsider, what do you count as your least favorite movie? The Apple is not my least favorite movie. I can't count that until I watch the full damn thing.
It's true, but it's on its way there.
It's definitely in the top 5. But no, my favorite movie of all time will always be. It's a tie. I like these movies for 3 different reasons, but they get the same enjoyment out of them, which is Yellow Submarine, Road to El Dorado, and Dying, Homeward Bound, and Incredible Journey. Those are my favorite movies of all time. I'm not saying they're the best movies of all time, but they are my favorite. And Homeward Bound makes me cry. I have that movie on the list for tears. It shaped me into the dog lover I am today, besides the fact of owning a dog. But least favorite movie, my least favorite movie, in that I hated every moment watching it by myself, is Joseph, King of Dreams. I can't stand that movie. It is so bad. It's even worse given that it's a spiritual sequel to Prince of Egypt. And the only way I get enjoyment out of that movie is when I watched it with Max and heard him criticizing the entire damn way. Mm. It's such a shitty movie. Mark Hamill better have gotten a good paycheck for being in that movie. And Brad Pitt. I think Brad Pitt voiced Joseph, and he did not care during that entire performance. Anyways, that was mine. What about you boys? Silver?
Oh, favorite movie is let's see here. I'm just looking up what I think might be my least favorite. I'm just remembering. Yes. Favorite movies is hard because it sort of depends on what is it I'm looking for. Sometimes it's comedy, sometimes it's drama. I will say Transformers the movie was my favorite childhood movie because it drew such a strong reaction. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to talk about power metal or power songs, The Touch always gets my blood pumping. Mm-hmm. More recently, Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, really, that one is great.
That one is great. Thoroughly love that. There are a lot of really good movies. The worst movie I think I've ever seen is called Only the Strong. Mm-hmm. And this is the kind of movie you play when you want to laugh at how bad something is. But on its own, if you're just by yourself, it is by far the dumbest thing. A veteran in his 20s becomes a high school teacher and starts some sort of Jamaican combat martial arts club to straighten out all these wayward students. And in doing so, comes into conflict with a local gang boss. Mm-hmm. And it's just so dumb. I don't know how else to describe it. I can't even remember who was in it. I saw we introduced this in college, and it was just god awful. Mark Dacascos, the ultimate martial art, they say. Now that's right there. That should be a declaration. So it's like, think the Karate Kid, but without any of the charm or likability.
That sounds promising.
Oh no, that sounds so bad. So basically, the character the Karate Kid played in that fucking Secret of Nim sequel, no charisma, no anything.
Oh yeah, the self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, in this one, there's not even a prophecy.
Oh, that what's the point?
The lead character is just such a cookie cutter good guy that you're just like, dude, no.
A cookie cutter probably has more personality.
A cookie cutter at least has an edge to it.
Hey, see what he did there.
I actually enjoyed that one.
Oh, yes, success! I have
and
gotten
we're back.
Ruined.
Balance has been restored.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, so if those are yours, I could hear you struggling down there.
I know. The struggle is real. I'm trying to think in regards to favorite movie, like a movie where I'm like, oh yeah, rewatch it again and again, and
go-to.
Yeah, a go-to movie. I'm not sure if I had one in recent history. I have been so strongly drifting towards series. That series come to mind. Like, oh yeah, worst movie. Also a good question. What is a worst movie really? For me at the moment. I guess I'm seeing. Come on, what were there for recent movie disappointments? I mean, Rise of the Skywalker left me a little bit like, but worst movie.
Have you had a movie recently that you went to cinema? Well, before the world went on fire, where you were like, where you wanted to walk out of the movie theater?
No, I haven't had this in a while, thankfully. I mean, recent good movies in cinema. I mean, I had Knives Out, but I have only watched it once. So I'm not sure how well it would hold up after a rewatch.
I mean, you were so ambivalent towards Solo that you walked out in the third act to use the bathroom.
I needed to pee. I really needed to pee. But yeah, ambivalent is still not worst movie.
I'm trying to think of I'm trying to help you out by thinking of movies that we've watched that you were just so like.
I mean, there is
not happy watching.
I mean, Joseph, obvious. No, with the.
Yeah, but that one was more annoyed at the terrible presentation of the story than I think offending you bad.
I mean, then again, I was also criticizing that the movie is. Being in certain aspects disturbingly accurate to the source material, and that the source material is maybe not a good book, but that's a topic for sometimes else.
Half brother, who cares? They fuck their siblings.
But yeah.
50 Shades of Grey.
I like the close-ups or the close-up HD of nipples, so that's already not the worst movie ever. I mean, there are movies out there without nipples in it, so I'm a simple man.
You are a simple man. We're not going to deny that for you. I mean, I guess like.
Did you see Van Helsing?
With Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, it was Hugh Jackman.
I haven't seen it in ages. I recall that I liked it and had the DVD when I was a teenager, but that doesn't mean much because I had a lot of DVDs and liked a lot of films when I was a teenager.
That's like saying that your favorite film is Euro Trip because you had DVD.
Exactly.
So that movie is great. That movie is a national treasure.
Over the Hedge was for the longest time. I mean, I guess I could go with something simple and generic and be like, Far From Home was pretty damn amazing. And I'm happy that we get another one.
Spider-Verse is better.
I need to rewatch Spider-Verse. I have to see which
That's
one
an argument to be had.
Yeah, this is one. I know that I love both ones. Still looking for a worst movie just to throw something out there. I believe I already... Did I mention this movie? It has Ron Perlman in it. It's about zombies on Earth and people fleeing to Mars.
It sounds familiar,
yeah,
but I'm not sure.
I probably complained about it before.
I'm just going to say this while you stall for time. Something that made me happy, it was either earlier this week or late last week, Spider-Verse was actually trending on Twitter because people were talking about how it's the best Spider-Man movie. And I was like, thank God. I'm just happy when Spider-Verse gets talked about, because that movie deserves such a bigger box office than what it got. I'm glad that it won an Oscar. We could say Oscar-winning Spider-Man film, but I watched Far From Home. It's good. I could think of more criticisms for Far From Home than Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse, I think, objectively is just a better film, has more technical achievements. It's more eye candy than any Marvel film ever could be. I don't care what you say.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Endgame can suck it. Spider-Verse looks so much better than Endgame. Though I made it's apples to oranges.
Okay.
But,
I found it. It's called Mutant Chronicles.
Oh God!
Yeah,
no.
I just bought the DVD back in the day because it was a thing I did, like in a bin, from especially from what is a Blockbuster called again? The store itself. It's actually a
Blockbuster Video? A rental store?
A video rental, yeah. So it's our local video rental, back in the 90s when this was still a thing. They had this bin of, like, when they reduced their stock of used but still not, like, super trashy movies.
Yeah, where you can buy it.
And I looked at it and it looked cool and everything, and I bought it and I watched it, and I was so, I mean, the ending left me so unsatisfied and so angry and whatnot. I just took the DVD out. I'm not even sure what I did with the DVD, but I know that I don't own it anymore. And
I should have said Shark Tale. Shark Tale is honestly worse than Joseph King of Dreams.
But yeah,
sorry, I just started thinking.
But yeah, this question already took far too long, so my bad, 100% my bad. So yeah,
I'm looking up another one. Also, J-Rock, you're wrong. Super Mario Brothers movie is fun, and if you don't like that movie, you don't like fun. Let's see. Sir, this is an Arby's asked. Would you rather sacrifice yourself to save humanity or sacrifice humanity to save yourself? This is a question that will make people judge us a lot.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, so are we Little Pip or are we anything else? So, yeah, I would sacrifice myself to save humanity.
But why? Explain yourself. I guess this is how we can get something out of the question.
Oh, okay. It's the simple thing, I guess, go by the Star Trek logic of, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And I guess it's topical with this kind of situation everyone's in right now, where there's some people that don't want to do the measures that would take to help the general populace. It's the simple thing of thinking past yourself for 1 second. Do you make more of a legacy and an imprint by helping yourself at every cost, or by helping others? Also, just the thing, thinking of logic, what the fuck would I do if I sacrificed humanity to save myself? I'm part of humanity. What the fuck am I gonna do afterwards? The entire world's blown up, but I'm there. It's like, I hope there's dogs because I'm going to have literally nothing to do. So both logic-wise in that scenario, and also the thing of I can't feel good in my head. I wouldn't be able to live with myself knowing that to have self-sufficiency, to survive, I would have had to sacrifice so many people who had their own lives, connections, families, love, and everything just for the sake of myself. I don't know if I can live with that. So that's mine. Fun question.
I know.
What about you guys?
Well, I guess in my case, there's very little I can add to that. Is that I agree. Both, I've got maybe like 10 more minutes on this earth at minimum, maybe less than that. But once I'm saved, then it's it for the human race. So sharp move, Sherlock. It is seeing beyond yourself for just a second, and you realize that it's brutal mathematics in a way. At the same time, I will add that I would then use that for passive-aggressive remarks in the afterlife. If people arrive at the pearly gates or Valhalla or what have you, I'll be standing there going, "Oh, did you have a good, enjoyable life? Well, guess you have to thank for that. Yes, God, but also me."
Okay, you know what? That's also a great reason. But I guess, are you going to try to be the contrarian, Maxi?
No, I actually can't because, I also considered it when you asked the question earlier. I mean, first of all, I had this, but before you think I'm actually a good person and an idealist or anything, no. There's a different explanation for it. So I did had as also once again as a teenager. We are witnessing my teenage years far too frequently today.
You can see the acne growing on your face.
No, it's actually a beard. I'm going. British Ninja called for the bros on Twitter to grow out their COVID beard, and I'm trying it. I'm dying for 2 days because it's so itchy. I have no idea how people get.
There's
past
a
this
reason you
point.
shaved
I know
off
there
the
is a
Star-Lord
reason.
beard.
It's
But
so
yeah,
itchy.
anyways, but yeah, point being,
Yes,
what's your reason?
That I had those fantasies of heroically saving somebody and dying by it. And this was not even humanity. I just was like pushing.
Being a hero.
Exactly. Going out with an heroic act, but it was more narcissism than actually like wanting to be there. Because I daydreamed about it for the narcissism, for the like going out a hero, being appreciated.
You're going with the reasoning that Tim did of having those afterlife points.
I don't believe in an afterlife. I just be like I'm more dry about it. I'm like, yeah, life is limited anyways. And this was times when I was not this comfy in life as I am nowadays. I was like, I want to go out a hero, so I don't have to bother with life anymore. But I will have a great leftover, this kind of thing. But nowadays it would more lean in towards the direction of, if I sacrifice anybody else and I'm the last one standing, it's like, what then? What do I do?
God, this question is a downer.
I know. I mean,
anyways.
Yeah, where would I get food? Do I have to hunt my own food then?
And what is your definition of humanity? Because humanity sounds like most surviving beings. So
wait. So this. Oh, okay. Now I get it. So what if, for example, we are going into a doom scenario where everybody turns into necromorphs or something? Those was Dead Space, actually, wasn't it? Or everybody gets possessed by demons, and I am just the last man standing. But hey, if the demons can still work in a restaurant and make some good food, I mean. So being the only,
turns out to be a normal society, but with demon people.
Yeah. So if by sacrificing humanity, I just mean that I sacrifice everybody's soul. Okay, let me re-say. We can move on to the next question, but now I need to rethink.
Yeah, next question. We'll go into your brain in the post show. I'm kind of dying right now, so we're going to. Look, if people want to ask their questions again next week, they could ask it next week. But I'm pulling a senior move here. We are moving on. I'm not feeling good.
Fair, absolutely fair.
Full transparency.
Yes.
Also, the fact that I need to save my voice because Will Ryan of The Games, my boss, asked me to be on a stream like an hour after this one. So I need as much energy as I can because that one I have to draw during it. Go watch Streamline on the DA Games. I think it's going to be on Twitch and YouTube. So plug. So Enigma asks, so with the way the world has been, sports in and of itself has been canceled. But that don't mean it can be canceled in this instance. So let's get our gear set and scoreboard at 0 for another game of Fuck, Marry, Kill Sports. Because if you want to talk to people about sports, you pick the right 3 people. Baseball, badminton, and golf. Hole-in-one, touchdown, 45, love, home run, and all the other instances of game lingos. Go AWKWARDCast! And I'm just going to apologize to Voice of Reason, Denim, Magical Dude, and Lucio is still trash because we missed your questions this week. You can ask next week, don't worry.
But yeah, on a positive note,
our special guest.
On a positive notion, I can already say I at least know all 3 sports that he's asking about. This is a good start.
I played all 3 sports, so I can actually have a decent opinion.
I actually did too, but I didn't want to make it too obvious that I actually know sports.
Wait, have you played baseball before?
Kinda.
Kinda, okay.
Not properly American one, but yeah.
Look, Denim, the only thing I would say about your question of the quirk of where I live is that the fact that there's actually cities. Because again, I've spent 10 years in buttfuck nowhere. There's literally no quirk. Like I'm just happy to be in a suburban urban area half the time. Let me tell you, there's nothing worse than, I'm sorry, I have to rant. There's nothing worse than growing up on Long Island, New York, and then moving to a landlocked state. Because Long Island is next to Manhattan and Brooklyn and all the fun stuff, and it's also near the ocean. Guess what's not in the middle of fucking Indiana? An ocean and the city!
It's an ocean of
Okay,
corn?
we're moving back to the question. Sorry, that was a rant. That needed to come out. Anyways, so Tim, our guest, baseball, badminton, and golf. What would you fuck, marry, and kill?
All right. Well, I would. Baseball, badminton, and football. Golf.
No, golf.
All right. I would kill golf because it's just so quiet and slow. It's like, oh, he's about to go for the putt. Oh, the club is go flying off. It has triggered a nuclear explosion. Oh, the humanity. Oh God, we're all gonna die. See, the announcers kill everything. So
okay.
Death to golf. I guess I'd fuck badminton because everyone likes a bad guy.
I mean, the little peripheral is called the shuttlecock, so you already are in for fun.
Yeah, there you go. But for a long-term relationship, I want to know there'd be someone who knew how to handle my balls. So baseball for the married.
Isn't the ball being hit with a wooden stick?
Hey, I could be into that.
There are so many things I thought I would hear in my life from you, Tim, and that was not one of them. Oh, that's like seeing your parents have sex. That is something I did not.
Oh, you think of me that old?
No, it's just a thing that you don't want to hear or see or happen. You can have the knowledge about it, but you don't need the audio visual.
Also, technically, you are old enough to be her dad, aren't you?
Well, all I know is I'm just glad you didn't include hockey, because then we have to talk about hitting sticks.
Oh.
Yeah, that's some docking right there. No, wait, how old are you, Tim?
I'll be 39.
No, wait.
Easily,
so if
he was still a minor.
He would have been a teenager if he had me.
Yes,
so.
But the moment he's biologically ready, he could hypothetically be your dad.
We are not going there. Also, there's some unfortunate implications about that, because if you went by that logic, Brett could be my dad. You could be my dad.
No.
What? You guys could have. We've had this discussion. Biologically, you could have. But no, none of y'all are my dad. I should know. My dad is behind me, and it is his birthday. So.
That's true.
Where's the sound effect? Because that was that joke.
Yeah, she was. She was literally referencing his urn right behind her. So she was not joking when she said her dad is there.
Hey, Dad.
Happy birthday, birthday, Steve.
Everyone say happy birthday, Steve.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Here's the thing. In the afterlife, he's probably laughing out loud about this. He would make these jokes.
Well, I felt like I hadn't earned that humor.
Ooh.
Oh, no. Don't. Just to say, one of the first jokes I ever made after my dad's passing was during Heroes of the Storm with, I think Max, Denim, British, and I think not Yuri, I think Umbra or something, and it was I think we were playing a game and Max was like, yeah, who's your daddy? I was like, not you, my dad's dead, and everyone went quiet, and I think Umbra went, Jesus, Key.
See, mostly I just think back to DuckTales. I always want to hear Scrooge back, who's your daddy?
Anyways, So okay, I guess
Fuck, marry, kill.
who wants to do the fuck, marry, kill this time? You or me? We always ended off with you, Max. Let's change it up. Your turn.
Okay. Baseball, badminton, golf. So my original plan was obviously to kill golf because it's boring, but I want to be soupy doopy original, so I will be the contrarian and not kill golf because Tim already did.
Yeah. Hippie.
I know, right? So, and now I will screw over Keyframe by stealing her gold digger answer.
Wait, what's the gold digger answer here?
I will marry golf because golf gets played by all the physicians and lawyers who have the money.
It also gets played by our president. So,
he's one handshake away from dying of a certain lung disease. Anyways, he doesn't stop shaking hands, so never stop hoping. Anyway, so yeah, marrying golf because this way I will be in the circles of the rich and whatnot.
Who's your kill?
Hmm?
Who's your boink and who's your kill?
That's a good question. Who is the boink and who is the kill? I guess I will not be able to completely avoid following a little bit up on Silver's lineup because I will probably also go for the badminton, but for a different reason because it's a very energetic thing. You get you have a good sweat and it's a lot about back and forwards movement. So all this is very fitting. For the fucking.
Are we talking about badminton still?
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever seen female tennis, which is basically badminton but with more steps, it's essentially porn. So
see, I know what's good. And baseball, nothing against it, but it's not really that big of a deal over here. So
how dare you?
Yeah, being completely nationalist and it not being my national sport, I will just be like, kill baseball because I personally will not miss it.
How dare you? Baseball's part of me, so you're basically killing part of me. How do you feel about that?
Wow, that answer came out of left field.
I don't like the lack of answer with that.
What about your sexual desires regarding ball sports?
Despite what people think, and despite my fur affinity favorites, I am a straight woman. So ball sports would be something that interests me. I'm sorry, Dad. Cover your ears. So, no. I actually would I would fuck golf. Honestly, well, for one thing, it has the longest stick. Second of all,
I thought it's not the length but the width that counts.
It's what you do with it. Trust me.
Wide swings.
Yeah. No. Here's the thing. Also, when I envision golf, because they didn't say what type of golf, I'm imagining mini golf, which translated into bedroom activities is probably some really kinky shit. Have you ever heard of the windmill?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Just watch out for that hole-in-one.
Yeah.
Hey. No, I'm just... Hole-in-one is how you get pregnant. See... How do you follow up that? God damn it, I should have went for fucking last. Marrying... Look, I'm going to marry baseball. I'm from New York. This is what we do. And I'm specifically marrying the Mets because...
You have seen the players and you want to keep all of them. I get you.
Honestly. Honestly, yeah. Have you ever seen a baseball player shirtless? They look good because they're not overtly ripped. They are mostly right here in the shoulders and arms, which are very important areas to me. And, they're not, beefy. I can't stand... Thank God football isn't an answer because that would have been the automatic kill because I can't stand football. I know a lot about it, but like math and country music, just because I know a lot about it doesn't mean I like it.
Tim, would you have killed football? I wonder if we all would have killed football if it would have been an option.
Well, wait.
I-
If we're
Yeah.
adding one in, what are we taking away?
I guess badminton. I don't know. But see, here, let me just say, football also would get the kill because it brings out the worst in people. I remember the fucking Super Bowl where the Colts were there, which is the Indiana team. So obviously someone I don't like already. And the Colts lost, and my cousin locked himself in his room the rest of the night because he was so upset. So I was just like, this is not fun. The only fun thing is your halftime shows. But yeah, so I would marry these.
Yeah, and you also wanted to explain why you hate badminton and want to see it dead.
Oh yeah, so I badminton. I've played badminton. Why the fuck would I play badminton when both tennis and ping pong are things that exist? Because badminton is just the worst of both of those individual sports. Because you can't bounce the damn thing. And the shuttlecock is so damn light. You have to be like, I don't care. If I'm playing a sport, I want to put all my strength into it and possibly hurt someone. I want to hurt people. That is something that I really hope these walls to my neighbors are not thin, because I don't know how much they would like hearing me say I want to hurt people.
Wow.
Actually, I think of this, but they say, "Oh, it's that Keyframe girl again, don't you know?"
But no, I'm just saying, if I could play any sport that requires two like paddle-like things, it would not be badminton. However, I realized the funniness if I chose fuck for badminton because it's a sport that involves paddles. So I guess I lost an opportunity there, but you know what? It's for the greater good. It's for the greater good. God, I should have made this answer more awkward.
A and Y and Key say hi to the people in the chat. The memes are seen on this live stream as they talk about random grabs. Time for awkward gags. It's the awkward. Random guests and funny gags on the awkward gags. It's the awkward. Artwork and analysis, which you do not want to miss on awkward.